I thought I'd do some sort of little video talking a little bit about the podcast again and just some stuff to look out for, really. So, well, first off, thanks to everyone that's listened to it so far. Really appreciate it, because obviously that was something I was slightly concerned about. You know, if you do something like that and put it out and no one listens to it. But as I've always said, it doesn't matter if only a few people listen to it either way. But that being said, I really appreciate everyone that has listened to it. Really enjoy doing it. Really, I mean, me and Pete get on so well anyway that I think it's good to bring our sort of friendship chemistry onto the podcast rather than just me doing it on my own like this. It makes much more sense to me to have Pete on to engage with and to keep the ideas flowing, keep the conversation flowing, do you know what I mean? Because as you've all seen in these videos, every now and again my mind just goes blank and I end up going somewhere different, which might happen in a few seconds, you don't know. But yeah, I think judging from what people have said and sort of my own thoughts as well, listening back to it, I think under an hour I think is about right, 45 minutes, because you know you can always say you can always finish what you wanted to say in the next one. Do you know what I mean? Or I don't know. I'd kind of like to keep it moving, if you know what I mean, each episode, rather than being sort of static on any one conversation for too long. I kind of enjoy just moving it along into different things, so it stays interesting, I suppose. But yes, I mean, to be honest, I think I probably put it out a little bit early, but you know, I wanted to get it out there. We've been talking about it for a while. I've been thinking about it for a while, but then I got lost in writing, which I still am. But I thought to myself, if I don't sort of make a conscious effort to, you know, because I've got all the gear sat here to do it, but I thought if I don't make a conscious effort to actually, you know, do it, I don't know when it's actually going to happen in that sense, because as I've said, it's me that has to drive these things. So I was pleased I got it out there last night, because it's on the Podbean link at the moment, and you know we don't really want to use the Podbean link. It's going to be on its own website, musicandmorepodcast.com, I believe. musicandmorepodcast.com, I think, anyway. So as I said on Twitter as well, it will be getting distributed to, you know, Spotify, iTunes, or Apple Podcasts, whatever it's called, and quite a few others, all of which are listed somewhere here. But you know, all the major podcast platforms, you'll be able to get it on, and you'll be able to subscribe to it. I mean, you know, I still don't understand all this. But anyway, Pete's told me that it will go to all these places. You'll be able to subscribe to it in the normal way that you would, because I'm not a podcast consumer. I might become one, but I'm certainly not one at the moment. So I'm not particularly au fait with, you know, how people consume these things. You know what I mean? How people like to listen to it or whatever, where they get it from. But I'm sure anyway, it's going to all the major ones. But that involves, I think it involves someone's got to review it like a person. I think, not like some sort of algorithm that's got to check a few boxes and then authorise it. I think someone's actually got to sit down and watch it, from what I can tell anyway. So yeah, that's where it's going to be, Music and More Podcast. That should, I think we've done everything we need to do, and again, I think it's just a case of Podbean doing stuff at their end, linking the website, I think, and then each individual platform has to authorise it going on there at their own speed. So I think like Spotify, Google, and something else. Again, I'd have to look at the list. I think they've already been authorised, and you should be able to get them on, should be able to get it on there, I think. What else about that? Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing it. Really, it's like I say, it's just like a really relaxed conversation that, you know, me and Pete are making public. It takes me in such a different direction than I do when I'm just on my own. And then it'll be really interesting, as we said in the podcast, to have other people come on, you know, to add to the dynamic. I did think at one point that maybe Pete wouldn't be on every episode, but again, that was more to do with predicting his availability than me thinking, well, you know, I don't want him on every episode. It wasn't like that at all. It was a case of, I might want to do this when he's not available, and I don't really want to get caught up in a, you know, being held back scenario if I actively want to make an episode. And with what Pete does anyway, he's quite flexible time-wise, so the majority of the time he can be there to, you know, to host it with me. Because I think that I think that's certainly going to be the way forward, rather than just me doing it on my own. It works in this format for YouTube videos, but I think sort of in the podcast, it needs to flow. It needs to flow better, and I think both of us sort of doing the editing as well. I'll do an edit, send it to Pete, and then he does some on it as well. It's made it really listenable. Little things like the order, like when you probably hear it in my videos, when I get going, really talking, it's always been a problem of mine. I don't breathe properly. So I end up doing really sharp intakes of breath. Now, that's all right here when I'm not right next to the microphone, although it still might be irritating. But when you're sort of recording on a proper microphone, on proper equipment, anything like that, sort of sharp intakes of breath or little noises that you're making get really irritating when you're trying to listen back. I mean, when I was listening back to the raw file, like, oh God, that is me breathing in between talking is so annoying. And if I were a listener, I'd be like, yeah, I'm sorry, mate, you've got interesting things to say, but I can't listen to that for, 5 minutes, let alone 45 minutes. So it was good, and I'm trying to actively control it now. So yeah, it's good that Pete took all those things out. It's made it so much more listenable, so much more enjoyable, easier on the ears. And also, he's a really nice guy, and I've really enjoyed getting to know him in this new age of meeting people and talking to people on Zoom all the time. But why not? You know what I mean? I mean, he's in America anyway, so it's not like we could be having face-to-face meetings all the time. So it works fine for me. He does all this Zoom stuff. And that'll be good. Well, I think ultimately, I don't think we really want more. Well, certainly from what Pete said, and certainly from what I can see as well, you don't really want more than a maximum of 4 people on a podcast, I wouldn't say. Yeah. Although, it would be nice maybe one time to have all 4 of us on, Stu, Phil and Rob, and Pete as well, and me. That could be quite interesting. But that could work. I don't know. There's all kinds of possibilities. All kinds. What else can I say about that then? How long is this? 7 minutes? What else can I say about that? What else can I say about anything? Any sort of updates? Well, I'm still writing. I'm still writing, and it's just getting better all the time. I'm learning so fast, and I'm progressing really fast as well. It's difficult when you're in it; you don't sort of notice it. But certainly, from what other people are saying, I'm sending stuff to, and then when you sit back and try and listen to the stuff that you've done from a few months ago, I'm developing really quick. I'm really happy about that. For my own, for my own peace of mind, it's just exciting. It's enjoyable. And especially, I bought all this equipment and I haven't been using it really. I've just been sat with an acoustic and recording stuff on my phone, which I still do. I like that for the real germ of the idea. I like coming up with it like that. But I'm slowly bringing the technology in now, with, the recording technology anyway. And miking up my voice and singing properly, through speakers and that, with some nice compression and reverbs and stuff on, to make it nicer to come up with ideas. That's I've been doing it raw, just with nothing, just a voice and a guitar, nothing to make it, nothing to make it sound easier on the ears. But as soon as you do that, mics things up and put compressors and reverbs on things, it just gives you so much more confidence to sing. It certainly does me anyway. It certainly does me, especially if there's a bit of reverb on there, because it just gives you a bit more confidence to hit notes or try and hit notes. So yeah, I'm really liking that. I'm really liking the fact that I've waited a bit until I've started bringing in technology, because, as I say, now I'm writing kind of through Pro Tools and using the podcast equipment. It's fascinating, this stuff, and like Pete was saying, there's no reason at all why we can't have little live situations in here, providing it's something that people are up for, depending on who we have on, obviously. But yeah, it's going to be a fun little... Well, I say it's not a little side project. It's another string to the bow of whatever it is I'm doing, which I'm still not really sure, other than just creating as much as possible. And especially now the gardening season has wound down, I said, winding down to a great extent, I'll have sort of more time to focus on this 100%, which I'm certainly enjoying doing. And as I say, that's why the podcast fell by the wayside for a little bit, was when I discovered, well, certainly now anyway, how easy I'm finding writing. And, you know, having done it a lot in the past, to sort of find how easy it's coming to me now is really, you know, it's exciting, but I know it won't last like that. That's why I'm trying to make the most of it. And that's, like I say, when I'm sat there writing, thinking, oh, should we be working on the podcast? I very quickly think, well, you know, I'll run with this while I'm still inspired. And, you know, when there comes a day or a few hours where I'm not feeling like that, then that'll be time I can do something else. So, you know, it's very much about dividing my time between these creative outlets. And, you know, I will still be doing these YouTube videos because it's a little bit more free form, it's a little bit more stream of conscious, do you know what I mean? Just stuff coming out of my head. And, you know, if people find that interesting or not, whatever. You know, as I say, I'll always struggle with that because I don't like, I'm not narcissistic in that sense, so I don't like coming across like that, but I started this and people that kind of like it, and I don't want to let them down. But that's fine, you know, I get reward out of that as well. I get reward out of people saying, oh, nice one, I enjoyed that. That's brilliant. And as I say, if only one or two people do that on the podcast and say, look, that I enjoyed that and made my commute easier, it was interesting, I'm looking forward to the next one. It's all music to my ears, no pun intended. You know, it's interesting. I'm pleased that I finally got it moving because, you know, as I said in the podcast itself, I've certainly been in the past, I've been one of those that's like, oh, I could do that, why don't I do that? And then just don't do it. Just carry on day to day. It's difficult really because, I don't know, I say that a lot, I have a lot of catchphrases, don't I? But, it's hard to say really, I don't know if it's something I should say, but maybe it's not. It's such a strange time for everyone, this. And, you know, for some people, you know, it's a really horrible time for most people, I would expect. Difficult really, but I don't know if I'd be, well, I think I spoke about it before, I don't know if I'd be doing the stuff I'm doing now if it wasn't for, well, not COVID as such, but lockdown, do you know what I mean? And what that's doing, well, certainly what it did to my day-to-day routine. And then obviously that led to Tim Burgess starting his listening parties, and that led to whatever. So yeah, it's a strange time. I just hope everyone's safe out there, do you know what I mean? And doing the best to stay safe and all those sorts of things. But as I say, I don't really want to bring that too much into these videos. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the sort of thing that is best when you're talking to someone else about, really. Something me and Pete can maybe talk about. I don't know, you know, there's certain things I don't feel necessarily comfortable always talking about. That's probably one of them. But the point I was trying to make anyway isn't life strange? In every sense. How you get places, you know, the tiny speed of butterfly wings and all that stuff, and the ripples they cause. But yeah, it's certainly an interesting chapter in my life that's opening. Really exciting, and I intend to not so much take full advantage of it, but I intend to enjoy it. And, you know, everything that I wished I'd done before, I'm going to do now. So yeah, I don't think there's a great deal more to say. I'm just trying to think. I'm sure there was something else, like some sort of quirk I needed to tell you about with the podcast, but I don't think there is. Oh, was it the? Oh yeah. Well, I think the only thing is I've given that Podbean link out. Very soon it'll be on its own link on a musicandmorepodcast.com link. It won't be on. It'll still be on Podbean, but it'll have. I don't understand how it all works. I'm sure it'll all become apparent. But anyway, yeah, just a quick update video. I don't want to talk too long. Leave it there for now. But yeah, thanks for watching this if you have, and thanks for listening to the podcast. Anything else? Don't think there is. I think that's about it. Right, I'll crack on with making some noises. writing some songs. Right, anyway, thank you very much. I'll speak to you later. Bye.